Welcome back to another edition of the Blue Review. Clinton Yates, Greg Bergman. Blue Review is always presented by Los Angeles International Airport, where changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. Clinton Yates, Noah Syndergaard is an absolute mess. He's saying things like, pitching just isn't fun right now. And after his last start, he's saying things like, I'd give up my firstborn to be able to pitch like I did in the past. He just sounds dejected.
Confidence is a major factor when you're on the mound in baseball in general, never mind Major League Baseball. And when Syndergaard first signed with this team, sort of a 1 year, let's see what's going on, let's see if he still has it deal. You know, he had been working out off season, putting those things online to the point that you kind of believed, okay, well, if this is going to happen anywhere, the Dodgers are exactly the kind of team from a development standpoint and from a team standpoint that he could flourish in. It's gone the exact opposite way between injury, between performance, and between confidence. He's not any good right now. And when you're talking about skipping starts multiple times in a season before the All-Star break for reasons that are not all injury related, you've got a real issue on your hands. And I feel bad for the guy because he's being honest about it. You know what I'm saying? He's not acting like something is not wrong. When you're losing to the Nationals, giving up that many homers at home, yeah, you got a problem. Dave Roberts has to figure out what he's going to do.
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do with them. And at some point, this experiment is just not going to work. I hope that it will. He was always supposed to be just a fifth starter that was just supposed to eat some innings essentially and help the bullpen. He's actually kind of done that. He goes 6 innings with kind of regularity. There's been a few of them where he's only gone 2 or 3, but for the most part, last night or yesterday in the afternoon, he went 5. So, he's helping the bullpen in that way, but he's giving up so many runs that he's losing. He has no control over his changeup, which he says is just an absolute problem right now. But most of his pitches, when you don't have the velocity that he used to have and you can't use your off-speed stuff, you're just throwing gas out there and saying, here you go, hit it. And that's kind of where he's at right now.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, you're fine. The problem is that right now you have a pitching staff that's in disarray. Clayton Kershaw has not been great recently. He's going to start tomorrow against the Yankees, but he's due for some time on the IL, which is always going to happen. You have, Urias is not going to be back till the end of June. They're thinking now. We don't know if we're going to get Dustin May back. You're looking at Bobby Miller and Tony Gonsolin as your starters.
It's really unfortunate too, because, it shows how even a team like the Nationals, you can lose to if your pitching isn't good. These teams in the bigs are still teams in the bigs. And for all of the power and prosperity that this lineup has, you just can't expect them to overcome these kind of deficits night in and night out, afternoon in or afternoon out. And so, we talked about before what the expectation levels are and, do we have to adjust them now that the staff has changed? These are the kinds of losses that I'm referring to when it comes down to home games at the end of a series that you just can't complete. This is what happens when you are definitively depleted. And, it's unfortunate, but, if you look down the line and say September and they're at 85 wins as opposed to 95, you know what I mean? Like, these are the kinds of games that you think about. And not that it necessarily matters more largely, but, I do not envy Dave Roberts right now. This is about as tough of a man management situation for a squad with these kind of expectations as I've seen in a long time. And there does not seem to be much help. Gavin Stone had to go back down because he got shelled a bunch of times. Obviously, Bobby Miller looks good. But other than that, the light at the end of the tunnel is dim at this stage for the staff.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this Latin Nationals loss. It's not so much about losing to the Nationals. The Cubs, who are terrible, beat the Rays twice in their last series. Right. That's the best team in baseball. So, those types of things happen. It's the fact of what we're talking about with this pitching staff and what we're looking at. Michael Grove is pitching on Saturday. So we'll see what he's been kind of up and down, like where he had 2 decent to good starts, 2 innings. He gave up 2 runs in one. He gave up 1 run in another, but he got shelled in one other one. Right. So and then he was injured after all that. So now we'll see what he comes back with. But this pitching staff is definitely going to be a problem. The funny thing is, Clinton, that we are, getting upset with all this, and not even upset, but, just worried about this stuff. They still have the best record in the National League.
Yeah.
Throughout all of this. But will it sustain?
Right. And I don't look, it's, it's officially June 1st. So, we are moving towards, that dog days part of the season where, okay, the standings matter, but the baseball matters too. And when you're throwing the ball all over the yard from the pitcher position and making mistakes like that, like Again, what I'm watching does not look like it is close to the product they want it to be. And whether or not the record in the division or the league is that important is one thing, but like they're not even close to optimizing what they can be because of the pitcher situation. So if we're going to say that championships are what matter, the baseball I'm watching right now does not look like it can win a World Series, unfortunately. And that's my larger concern.
No, I'm totally with you. And it's not just the starting rotation and whether they're going to be okay at the end of the year, because I'm hoping they're going to make some kind of move. It's the bullpen, dude. The bullpen is a mess. Brusdar Graterol made bad decisions on the mound yesterday. He gave up a big home run. Phil Bickford, you can't really go to. Alex Vesia came back up after pitching well in the minors and looked terrible. You have basically the guy that you trust is Evan Phillips. And after that, do you really fully trust anybody else on the bullpen? No, right? I mean, the only thing I'll say about that is that the beginning of the year, your bullpen is not who you are at the end of the year bullpen. And I think that's going to be somewhere where they're going to look. It's the pitching is where this all needs, because the offense, by the way, the batting has been great.
Robust. Yeah, for sure. So I'm totally with you. We'll see if Dave can do it, but the Yankees present a formidable task this week.
Yep. And we'll talk all about it tomorrow on the next edition of the Blue Review. Thank you very much, Clinton. And thank you to LAX. See you tomorrow.